Every day we wake up and we go to war with ourselves. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am alcoholic. Before I came back in the rooms of recovery in July of 2021, I used to always say I wasn't an alcoholic. I don't have a drinking problem. I have a management problem. I have a discipline problem. I'm just a little laxed on my discipline. After all these other areas of my life over here, I was very disciplined, very self-controlled, and I was very successful. But this one area, I just need a little bit more discipline, a little bit more self-control. I spent the better part of 46 years proving that to be categorically false. And when I came back into the rooms of recovery, I was not deceived in any way, shape, or form. I knew I was going to be fighting for my life. I knew I was going to be fighting a war, not against anybody else, but against myself. I was going to be fighting a war for myself. And it made sense when I came back in the rooms. It made sense to at least go to these rooms because that's the places where people were at who had already fought those battles that I was getting ready to start fighting. That's where people were located, where they had already fought that war and they were successful because they're still alive and breathing, right? They're still kicking, right? So I could at least go in and pick up tips and tricks of the trade, so to speak. I didn't have to sign no membership card and get a newsletter in my email inbox every 2 weeks. I didn't want to join no cult. I wasn't interested in any of that. But at least made sense in my head to go in and sit and listen. And that's why that we are always stressing the significance and the importance of surrounding yourself with like-minded people, be it in normal meetings, hell, be it at a baseball game on the bleachers, just having a conversation about addiction and about how our brain works. Here's a great example. I remember when I came back in the rooms, I would sit and listen to the guy, he's over here, got his nice suit on, got 35 years of experience in sobriety and seems very knowledgeable, seems very approachable and nice. My brain's sitting there going, yeah, my story's not as bad as his. Maybe I don't need to be here. I'm comparing rather than identifying, rather than trying to gather intelligence. I'm sitting there going, I probably don't need to be. That's not as bad as his. The guy over here with 56 tattoos, 2 fingers on his right hand and walking with a limp, looks like he's still in the midst of a battle, going through the war himself. He's in the fucking trenches. I'm listening to his story. I'm going, yeah, you know what? Maybe my story's not as bad as his. I don't need to be here. Rather than gathering intelligence and trying to pick up these tips and tricks of the trade to fight my very own battles, I'm too busy comparing. My addiction is too busy coming up with reasons why I don't need to be in the rooms. That's why being in those rooms, being in those meetings are so significant, because that's where I get to find that partner I get to go into battle with. I get to have on my flank. I get to have beside me while I'm fighting my own battle, my own personal battle. Just this morning, I was on the phone with an individual. He's a recovering drug addict and alcoholic, and he's been in the rooms for quite some time. Well, he's been in the program quite some time, and he said he was struggling. I asked him, I said, how many meetings have you been to recently? He's like, none. Okay, well, how many people are you sponsoring? I'm not sponsoring anybody. How many people do you just sit and talk to, just randomly talk to about your addiction problems? You're the only one I've talked to. And I asked him, doesn't that seem curious? Have you ever stopped to think that maybe that's the reason why you're struggling, because you've disconnected? You've not been gathering that intelligence to help fight your own battles, but rather you've completely disconnected from any support? Find a meeting, find a group of like-minded people, and I want to reiterate this very clearly. It doesn't have to necessarily be in the basement of a church. It doesn't have to be a meeting in the VFW hall or in the rec center. It can be just you picking up the phone and calling up somebody that you know is going through or has been through the same problems you're going through, saying, hey, meet me at the Waffle House, meet me at the IHOP. I can't tell you how many meetings, impromptu meetings, I've had in the produce aisle at my local grocery store or in the 7-Eleven parking lot. Find a group of like-minded people to gather intelligence from them on the battle that you yourself are getting ready to fight or may be going through right now. Make sure you have that support group to go into battle with you, because you never know. They may need to be looking to you to help them out while they themselves are there to help you out. This war we're fighting is for life and death, and I make no qualms about it. It is that serious of an issue. I know too many people who have passed away because of the war that we're fighting. Find that group of like-minded people, surround yourself with them, and take their information, take their intelligence, and apply in the own battles that you yourself will be facing in your road to recovery. With that being said, I'm out of time. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I cannot be more appreciative. We'll be talking again soon, guys. Remember, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.